Welcome to On Air with Cash. Our guest today is one of the executive producers of the new feature film Code Red, Youth of the Nation, available on Amazon now. She's the Vice President of Boo2Bullying. Please welcome Cassie Scerbo.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me.
Cassie, thank you so much for being with us. I know you've had such an extensive career, acting, dancing, and you've been involved in Boo2Bullying. We have an event coming up Friday for Halloween, and you executive produced this new documentary, Code Red, Youth of the Nation.
Yes, I was one of the executive producers on Code Red. I teamed up with a friend of mine, Connor, years back, Connor Riley, and he got involved immediately. He was very passionate about the subject matter, also being a former resident of Fort Lauderdale, so very close to Parkland, Florida. He went on an amazing journey and did a lot of research, and just we all joined forces. The way Connor edited this film and pieced it together and directed it, I feel like it is something very different, because instead of it being a retelling of events, it is a film that is very solution based. The film is, or the documentary rather, is focused on how we can make our schools safer, following the 214-18 massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, which was my high school. So this is something that is extremely important to me, top of the list important, and something that I'm very passionate about, as is the whole team behind Code Red, the amazing team. It is set up in 11 lessons, really teaching viewers what went wrong, what continues to go wrong. There are more school shootings now than ever before, and we really need to put an end to it. And I genuinely believe that we can save lives if everyone just watches this film. It is not an easy watch. It is hard hitting, but unfortunately, it's the reality, and it's time to really educate everybody on a lot of things that people are unaware of, and things that may have slipped under the rug that day. And, during many other of these terrible mass shootings, as well as, we talk about mental health. It's just an incredible documentary that I really feel extremely passionate about. And I truly hope that as many people as possible can watch it and will watch it, because I really believe that it will create change moving forward.
I can tell your passion and how much this means to you, and I commend you for making this film. I mean, that must hit home on a level, knowing that you went to this school and then this becomes of it.
It's so surreal. You see horrible tragedies like this, sadly, often on the news, but when it's your own hometown, I mean, there are no words to describe what I was feeling the day I found out, what I still feel just knowing that. Those were the hallways that I once walked, and it's a place that shaped me, at least into my adulthood, from my teenage years. And I mean, if it can happen in Parkland, in my opinion, obviously I'm from there, it can happen anywhere. And it's just so important for everyone to really focus and engage with everything we have going on. Connor and his family also pieced together the Code Red Foundation, which is also supporting putting an end to these school shootings and ensuring safer schools moving forward.
The film explores mental health awareness, and what I do like about today is that we do have access to so much information. We can shine light on these issues that we're passionate about, and to see people such as yourself get involved and want to back a project. I mean, I've had 2 incidences in my life where people that I cared about were taken away from me because of violence. A friend of mine who I went to school with, grew up with, he lost his father, had a hard time finding identity. He looked for it in the wrong place. He joined the Latin Kings and was in the wrong place at the wrong time, and was taken away from us through gun violence. A relative of mine that I was really close with, who was battling with some stuff, and he took his own life. Having experienced losses, really relating in the sense where I know what it's like to lose people to violence, and to really understand like the mental health component. It's important for artists such as yourself, who do shine lights on these issues that are complicated, because there are so many components, and I don't know what goes into someone's mind mentally to make them commit an act of violence or want to be involved in something. So
Absolutely. Yeah, mental health is extremely important. There is a bit on mental health in the documentary. Just in general, I think it's really at the root of everything in life. We talk so much about our physical health, right? Like going to the gym, eating healthy, drinking water. But I don't know why there's still a stigma surrounding mental health. I think it's the most important thing to keep in check and to talk about. And we can only break these stigmas by having these hard conversations, which become very easy the more you have them. It's all about just taking that first step, and there are so many parallels with bullying and mental health, which I'm also the vice president of California State 501c3 Boo2Bullying. We are in a mental health crisis, like actually. So it is time to talk about it, know the facts, to push for, better mental health care. The world is very heavy right now. There's so much going on with hate and the pandemic and the war in Ukraine. It is very important that we do talk about it and that people understand that it's okay to not always be okay. What's not okay is to not talk about it. You're not alone, and you should not feel ashamed for anything that you are going through. We're only human. And I always say, there are more than 7 billion people on this planet. I can assure you, I can promise you, there's nothing you're going through that somebody else, rather many other people, aren't going through. It's just part of life. It's a roller coaster. You're gonna have your ups, you're gonna have your downs. It's normal. So the best thing you can do is to talk about it, get it out of your body. That stuff can get real heavy. It just makes me so sad that not everybody can seek the proper help. So I hope that in the coming years, or hopefully much sooner, that we can really do better with mental health care. Yeah.
You said it. I think we're close to the same age, and I can remember being a kid, certain people were open about stuff, but I do feel in the last, this new generation that's coming up, I do like that they make a lot of things more available for the kids to talk about, and especially today, because I can remember growing up without social media, and now it's a part of life. There's this whole other generation that have been raised on iPhones and iPads, and I know that certain things can constantly, comparing yourself to other people and certain achievements. I know.
Right.
And so I like when people use their platforms for good things, to address what's happening in the world. What I admire about you is you've had a lot of success when you started out in the industry, and then you've really made this shift to, be a philanthropist. You're involved in this documentary and in this organization, and you really are someone that I think does the work, puts a good message out there, and wants to see the world be a better place.
I do. Thank you. I do want to see the world be a better place. I didn't meant to say I do put in the work, which I do, but thank you. Yeah. It's so important to use our voices. If you have a platform, use it. If you don't, it doesn't matter. You have a voice, and your voice is just as important, and everyone deserves to be heard. And there's so much to stand up for, and it is so accessible due to the internet, due to social media. You can join a campaign or donate by the click of a button these days. It's like the yin and the yang, though, with most things on that scale, on the scale of what the internet and social media is, because of course we deal with cyberbullying, and it's a lot of what we talk about when we do our school programs. But at the same time, there are many amazing organizations and platforms where people can, when they need help, when they need support. So it is about picking and choosing wisely, about following accounts that really make you feel good, that uplift you, and that are positive, opposed to, accounts that might make you feel a little down, or maybe insecure, or whatever it may be. And also just remember, we all know this by now, but or I hope we do, Instagram is a highlight reel. People are, for the most part, posting a highlight reel. I am finding that a lot of people are opening up on social media. You had said this, and breaking stigmas and having the hard conversations, which I really appreciate. I feel like that really took off during the pandemic, when everyone was just because we were all in it together. It was, we were united in this plague, what I mean? And just remember that whether we're all stuck at home or not, we're still united. We're still one. We're all human at the end of the day, period.
Like I said, I'd experienced some losses at a young age, losing some friends and not wanting to go down certain paths. And I remember there was just a point in my life when I was just really taking on a lot. I was really stressed, and I had a lethal arrhythmia at the gym. I was dead for just under a minute. Fortunately, I got revived by a defibrillator, and it really it was a whole transformation afterwards. So many things. The person who revived me wasn't even scheduled to work. He was the only one who knew how to work the defibrillator. He's training a producer for me, Our True Stories. And then this angelic person saw me go down, and no one saw that person again. So these things that line up. And I mean, I came
Wow.
out of that,
You are meant to be here. Anybody that is on this planet right now is meant to be here. I promise you that.
exactly. And I'm so grateful for all the people. And that really made me reevaluate where I was in my life. I made some changes. I wanted to get back on the right track, and everything was fine. I clean bill of health. And for a long time, I was, I would only talk about it with some close friends. And then as making movies and then getting involved in certain organizations, people would start sharing their stories. And I mean, even I met this, there was a young actress who I met at a event, and she had shared her story about losing her sister to what happened to me. Remembered hearing that and thinking, wow, a lot of people don't know about this, and I want to. And then I got involved in this organization to make defibrillators accessible. I just felt comfortable enough to be like, I have a story to share, and if this can help people and draw awareness, then I want to be part of like that good message. So
Yeah.
that was just something where I had to look inside and say, I'm personally connected to this. If my story can, even just this family that I was talking to who had been involved because they lost a loved one, even having that conversation with them, I felt that's a start. But then if I can talk about it on the show and bring awareness to thing that happens, I mean,
Right. Do you feel that it was like mental health induced, like stress induced?
honestly, I was working full time. I was graduating from college. My parents were getting divorced. There was so much happening in
Right.
my life.
It
There
just
was,
goes to show how powerful the mind is, and that's why
yeah,
it's so important. It's imperative that we take care of our mind. My friend Alexa, I bring her up all the time because bring her up in every interview because she has so many little amazing nuggets of insight, information, advice that she's like, you got to do that mental flossing, baby. You got to do the mental flossing too. You can't just floss your teeth. And it's just so true. And you know what? I lost my best friend to a murder suicide. She was killed, and then her ex boyfriend turned around and killed himself. And it was with a gun. So, due to gun violence, domestic violence. So, it also hits very close to home for me, very close. I got it right here. The S with the infinity going through. Her name was Stephanie, and she was the best. And it's important to, carry on these incredible people's legacies, the 17 amazing people from Marjorie Stoneman Douglas, from my home, from my community. It's important to make sure that, that these passings weren't in vain, that we go on to do better, to carry on their legacy, to carry on Stephanie's legacy, and so on and so forth. And also just going back, because I also dealt with a lot of loss at a younger age and in my teens. When I was, obviously, you don't know yourself as well as you do when you're in your 20s and 30s. I began getting panic attacks, and these outside stressors really, I guess, I began to internalize them. And I used to always, I've always been a very strong person. So at a very young age, I put on a brave face, and I tried to just, continue on. And I'm also very like religious and faithful. And so I would pray about everything, and just, I wouldn't talk much about it. I wouldn't want to bring anyone else around me down. And I was always the one kind of picking everyone else up. And what I learned is that that is a very beautiful quality to have, but you have to take care of yourself. Because I was giving out so much, I wasn't filling my own tank. And you have to fill your own tank in order to be able to give to others. You have to, always make sure that you're okay to be able to take on whatever it is in life. I actually wound up getting panic attacks when I was in high school, and I didn't know what any of these things, like, I didn't know it was happening. I didn't know what a panic attack was. I didn't understand why this was happening. And it's so scary when you have your first one, because you're like, what's going on? And then in time, obviously, I did the work. I learned, that I was internalizing a lot, and that I was taking on too much, and that I was trying to always make sure everyone around me thought I was okay. I didn't want to ever stress anyone else out. And the truth is, you have to talk to somebody, and you have to, really, really take care of yourself. So I'm with you there. The way that these things can impact us physically, mentally. I mean, you got to take care of yourself. So I'm so happy you shared that story. And I do want to say, like, with every one of my challenges, and as you were saying with yours, in life, I do feel that we get 10 times stronger and just become that more evolved. And also, it helps me relate to so many other people and do the activism work that I do the philanthropic work that I do. So yeah, I think I always try to find the positives in everything. And that's really all you can do. A positive mind leads a positive life. And I just, one last thing, when I would have these panic attacks or episodes of like extreme anxiety, it felt like there was this dark cloud just sitting on top of my head that would not go away, right? Like I just, it feels like that light at the end of the tunnel will never be there. And I just am here to promise you, if you're going through anything or you're struggling with whatever it may be, obviously everyone's very different and has their own thing, but just know that there is 1,000,000% always a light at the end of the tunnel, always. No matter how long and dark the tunnel may seem, there is. And I will say, like, surpassing some of these horrible times when I was just internalizing so much and dealing with so much stress, after I got past all of that and found the light right at the end of the tunnel, I went on to live my best days, to have the greatest of wins, and to experience the most wonderful success and love and memories. Don't be in fear if something is suddenly changing in your life and you're like, why is this happening? We're human, and life has its seasons. That season may be a day, a week, a year, but just know you will get through it, and you will have the best days of your life after you do. Because what is life without contrast? We wouldn't know good days if we didn't have bad days. We wouldn't know light if we didn't have dark. Another thing Alexa always says. She's also my life coach. But so anyway, yeah, just putting that out there because I do understand how heavy that can feel.
I totally understand and know what you're going through. I mean, you articulated it so well. Well, with me, it was after the arrhythmia. I felt there was this period where it was like, I had the second chance, but within a year, I did start getting some panic attacks. I mean, there was just little stuff that never feared before, getting anxiety.
You're like, what is this?
Like, what's going on? And like you said, life's a journey. And there was definitely, with the loss of my friend at a young age, who's similar to your friend, and just other losses that I've had in life, experiences that I went through. I mean, I was bullied as a kid too, so there were a lot of stuff that I did take on in my adult life, which I feel like did try to take care of everyone.
Yeah.
And then for me, it was like taking on all that, getting stressed. And even after the arrhythmia, I had highs and lows. I mean, have certain relationships or certain jobs that bring their own baggage. I mean, I've definitely been stressed out. And then there was a period about 8 years ago when I really want to talk to somebody and get this out. I started seeing a therapist, and it was, I mean,
Oh,
there were just so many things that just make
please.
sense to me. You relieve it. And I think we're a lot alike in that respect. And I really,
Yeah,
I
thank
thank
you.
you for giving me your time. Is there anything else that you would like to share with your fans?
Yeah, I would love to just quickly talk a little bit about Boo2Bullying. As vice president, I started as an ambassador and I worked my way up to West Coast executive director. And then at 25, got promoted to vice president. And I just want to say, I had no idea what that entailed. Like, I was an actress my whole life, blessed to be so grateful to do what I love most. But I had no idea what that entailed, but with passion, you can really make anything happen, any movement. Just know that if you're out there and you want to get involved, or you want to create your own organization or your own campaign, like, as long as you genuinely and wholeheartedly have passion for eradicating whatever it may be, or whatever cause it may be, if you just have a passion for that cause, like, that's really all it takes. Obviously dedication, hard work, research, but it's all driven from passion. So proud to be a part of this organization. Our main focus is our school programs. We have many initiatives. We also do community outreach, but we just produced an animation with Danimation. Danny Bowman, who runs Danimation, she actually just got an Emmy for Love on the Spectrum, so quick shout out. But yeah, we the animation is called Parker and Boo, You're Not Alone. It stars Rob Paulson, myself, Jack Griffo. It just premiered at Comic-Con. So, like, the sky is the limit. There are so many ways to do good and to make the world a better place. And for me, the most exciting thing is being able to marry my worlds of the entertainment industry and philanthropy. You can do whatever it is that you want and that you believe in. We wanted to come up with this animation, and now it's out in the world, and kids are so receptive towards it. They love it. They're so engaged in the content, and yeah, I'm just really proud of the organization and all the work we do. And we do have our big annual event coming up on the 28th, which is tomorrow. But we're very excited. It's at the SLS Beverly Hills. All the tickets are at the link in Boo2Bullying's bio, Boo2Bullying, my bio at Cassie Scerbo, or you can go to boo2bullying.org. And yeah, it's going to be a great night. We have a bunch of performers: Jamie Miller, Taryn Manning, Justin Jesso, Mackenzie Soul, Katie Welch, Louis Knight. We're very excited. We also have celebrity magician Eric Blackwell going around doing some fun walk around magic. We have Jonathan Bennett and James Vaughn, my favorites, hosting the evening. It's going to be truly wonderful. Open bar, hors d'oeuvres, all the things, costume contest, silent auction. So 21 over. Just wanted to shout that out, obviously, because it is our big annual fundraiser. And if you're unable to join, but you want to donate and help us continue doing the work that we do, it would mean the world to us. And you can do that at boo2bullying.org, boo2bullying.org. And once again, Code Red is out now. It's streaming on Amazon, Apple, Google, and it truly is such an important film, an important documentary that is solution-based, that is able to provide viewers with the proper tools to ensure safer schools moving forward, so that our kids can simply, and our youth can go to school to learn and to be kids again, and to not be in constant fear. And same for parents, that they don't have to be in constant fear when they, wave see-ya later to their children going into school that day. There is so much to be done, and the documentary covers so much of it. So please, if you can, give it a watch. It would mean a lot, mean the world.
You heard her. Everyone give it up for Cassie Scerbo. She is one of the executive producers of the new feature film Code Red, Youth of the Nation. You can watch it on Amazon and Apple now. Vice President of Boo2Bullying. They're having their big gala this Friday, so get your tickets. Follow her on social media. I'm looking forward to attending. Thank you so much for having me along with you on your journey, and to
Yes.
ball as well.
Thank you for opening up and sharing so much with me as well. You're so inspiring, and I really appreciate hearing your story. This is all it takes. We just need to have the conversations, guys. So thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on. I look forward to many more conversations with you. Yeah, sharing what we're going through, and really just keep it up.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Cassie Scerbo, today. You are on air with Cash.